course, we've seen a week of, okay, your client being released, and then a lot of things going from there, right? Him being exonerated by the SPVM. Tell me what the reactions have been.
Well, he's relieved, of course. His whole family is relieved. It has been a very traumatizing experience. Um, so they, um, so they're relieved, and today they received. Mr. Caron personally came to apologize, so they were happy with that. But of course, they still have a lot of questions that need to be answered.
What exactly did Mr. Camara say between him and Mr. Caron? Because obviously on Friday night he officially presented his apologies. Now you're saying today he had him over and spoke with him face to face. What what are his feelings towards that?
Well, they're happy. They think it's a step that is important for them to apologize, and they appreciated that Mr. Caron took time to meet them where they decided. So they appreciated that moment, but it's not um, they don't take responsibility. That's not what apologies are. So yeah, so they still have questions, but they were happy with how it went, and they appreciated the gesture.
But it doesn't mean it's all fixed for him, right? It's not
Of
all
course,
solved. So
of
what does that mean for him?
well, he understand that he can have a financial indemnization, and he'd like to see he wants to understand what happened, and why it happened, and how can we make sure that it doesn't happen again. So there's a lot of questions, and there's an analysis of the case that needs to be made to understand what the faults are, if any. Of course, we think there are faults, so we need to understand at each step what faults were made, and how can we make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Why was it important for Mr. Camara and his family to accept Mr. Caron's apology? Because he could have pretty much said, no, like you kind of ruined my life in a way. So he could have gone about it in any other way. Why was it the acceptance important?
Well, they thought that it was an important gesture from the institution to come and meet them and apologize personally. It's a show of respect. So yes, of course it's important. It doesn't make everything okay. It doesn't erase what happened. It doesn't erase the fact that Mr. Camara is allowed to financial indemnization. So of course that still stays, but it's a proof of good faith. It's a proof of respect, of dignity, which everything that happened, it lacked respect of the dignity of Mr. Camara. So it's an important step.
What are the next steps in, I guess, your investigation and maybe getting him financial indemnization, as you mentioned? What could he be entitled to?
We need to, at this moment, we're still in the process of doing the analysis of the file, identifying the faults, seeing what the damages are, what damages are linked to what fault. So, there's big work to make sure that, we want to take the time to make things right, to make sure we don't go too fast. And yeah, so we're going to take the time to do that, and he's allowed to have an financial indemnization. It depends on what the damages are, so we need to list them and compare them to other cases and see what what he's allowed to have.
And him personally, like going forward from this, what is it going to take for him to go back to a normal life at this point? He's a doctor, it's a PhD student, and had all these other things going for him, and this sort of ruined that, right?
We don't have this answer yet because he's still processing everything that happened. So, um, of course, he wants to go back to his life and how it was, but I guess he'll have to go to take it one step at a time, and because we don't have that answer yet.